And good evening, and welcome to the KASS Spotlight. My name is Levi Kones on this very lovely Wednesday evening. This evening, I'm very privileged to have a very special guest on my show tonight. He ran for the seat of governor in the county of Nyeri in 2013. He tried his best. He's a young man, didn't get it, but he's gunning again for it. His name is Kamau Gatwechi, KG, to the people that know him. Karibu, Bwana Governor.
Asante sana.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much to host me. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So, Mr. Kamau, tell us, bana. Sasa hii mambo ya governor. Why governor? Because you're a young man. Most young men are told, you know, go for MCA, go for MP. Why did you go for governor?
Thank you very much. And I must say that, yes, I made a stab at it, but I didn't really appear on the ballot paper. But that's a story that we are going to discuss later. And thank you for the question. You're asking that why would a young man actually try to run for governor? There is a misconception in this country that yes, the very senior positions are actually a preserve for either the very rich or the very old in the society. And what we are saying that the people who are actually going to drive the economy of Kenya are the young people. So we cannot abdicate this responsibility to the people who have actually had their say. They've actually done what they actually needed to do, and they are still trying to occupy space that is not theirs. Yes.
So that is, was there, with the advent of the new constitution, you know,
yes,
not many people who are aware of what a governor does, what a senator does. It's like, was it for you a question of the role, or is it a question of just the choice? Hey, there's governor, senator, I'll just do governor.
For me, I actually looked at the landscape and I was asking myself, here we have a governor, somebody who's actually tasked with a serious responsibility of trying to actually carry the aspirations of the people. This is somebody who's tasked with a lot of money to try and implement projects within a county. 6 constituencies, like for my case in Nyeri. And I thought about it, and somebody told me, no, Kamau, you're trying to bite more than you can chew. And I said, no, look at the landscape here in Kenya. You'll appreciate that we have quite a sizable number of CEOs who are actually below 30, let alone myself, who has actually been around for more than 3 decades now. And having worked in big institutions in this republic, I discovered that you do not need to actually wait until you're 50 to be able to actually serve your people. You can start doing it at that very tender age. And we've seen young people done it very well. We have very young CEOs, and they've actually excelled in the different areas of practice.
Right.
Yes.
In terms of, didn't people ask you about experience?
Well, yes, yes. Most of the people always imagine that experience is synonymous to age. But then I actually told them that if these big institutions had actually found it wise to employ me, then why is it that I cannot carry your aspirations as the people of Nyeri? Besides, as a manager, you already have a framework within which you're actually tasked with implementing. It's not necessarily true that you are the one to come, sit on a chair, dream. No. The constituents actually even know where they want to be taken. They only need somebody who can hold their hands and take them to the promised land. Yes.
So in terms of experience, you would say, how much experience had you had at that managerial level prior to this start?
Prior to this, I actually worked for the University Hospital. I was the marketing coordinator for outreach centers. We did very many projects, right from conceptualization to executing. So if you can be tasked by such a senior institution to actually carry out some feasibility study on where you can actually set up facilities, you've done that so ably. You've been able to manage resources. You've been able to deploy new centers which have actually succeeded with footprints across the nation. We are actually in Eldoret. That was my facility. I opened it there. We are in Nyeri. We are in Meru. So with all that success, then surely it would be naive for anybody to imagine that I cannot run a county. Yes.
So you felt you're good to go?
Absolutely, yes, because again, the beauty is, and if you read the Constitution very well, you'll discover that a governor will not only execute the mandate by himself. He will actually have some 10 executive officers who will be holding his hand and in terms of the different ministerial duties within the county.
Right.
Yes, and besides that, you also have now another very good number of people, persons that you would call the MCAs, who would actually help with the legislation. So you are going to share your idea of how you want to transform the county. Then the MCAs will go legislate and help you or enable you execute the program.
Now, Kamau, you had a very interesting choice of party.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about that,
Yes.
especially in the area of Nyeri.
Thank you very much, and that's a very exciting question. Most people at the point where I actually thought of throwing my heart into the ring, and they asked me, Kamau, what vehicle? And I told them that the challenge we have in Mount Kenya region is one. Most of us would always want to identify with persons with deep pockets. And I looked at myself and asked myself a question. Who is this leader, Rover Party in Kenya, whom I could actually look up to and say that this is a role model, this is a person I could look up to, and somebody who has actually risen from humble beginnings, just like myself. And looking at the political landscape at that particular time, I asked myself, who's this politician, full of energy, full of zeal? And while I was just interrogating and soul-searching, I settled on the current deputy president, that is William Ruto's party at that point, yes.
The URP.
The URP.
What did you like? Did you read the manifesto of the URP? What was appealing?
At that point, it had not even transitioned to URP. We were actually in UDM. And I remember coming all the way to Nairobi with my team from Nyeri under the leadership of Mushongo Nderi. Mushongo Nderi was our coordinator for UDM in Nyeri before we actually, some people brought in Fitina up and Apale, and I really admired the way our party leader was able to bounce very fast and craft another vehicle in the name of URP. So in Nyeri, people were wondering, Kamau, is it possible for you to sell William Ruto in Nyeri? And I said, people in Nyeri do not vote for parties. People in Nyeri are well educated, very refined. And these are people who actually make their decision based on an individual, not the party, you know? And I thought, and I said that, looking at
at this point, by the way,
yes,
Jubilee Alliance had not come together.
No, they are not coming. And I'll even give you a very interesting story. I find myself in Mheshimiwa's William Ruto, then actually had just had that short stint with
agriculture.
Yeah, the Prime Minister then, Raila Odinga, and he was no longer minister. So I find him in his office. And we were actually very many of us outside. And guys were trying to find a chance to actually speak to the deputy president now, William Ruto then. And I remember that it was getting very late. And that day, for sure, I was going to Nyeri. So I was on phone trying to tell guys, hey, make sure nisikose matatu, make sure nisikose matatu. Somebody seated next to me asked me, na wewe kwani unaenda wapi? I said, I'm going back to Nyeri. So I really need to see Mheshimiwa today. The person who asked me is actually the member of parliament for Eldama Ravine, Lesonet. And I remember at some point around a few minutes to 9, Honorable William Ruto coming out of the office and said, guys, I've been here, it's been long, it's been a long day, guys, just allow me to go and rest. And he requested everybody to just allow him to go and rest. He had had a long day. He's an early riser, he's normally in the office at 5. And there I was, I felt so weak and disappointed. I mean, this was, I think, the third or second time that I had not managed to see him. And I was happy when Lesonet actually held my hand and said, we kijana ngoja umetoka mbali sana. So I sat there, and Mheshimiwa said, I'm either seeing you or him. And Honorable Lesonet said, no, you have to just listen to his story. And we had a chance, walked into his office. Mheshimiwa was very good. I remember him serving us soda and asked me, young man, where are you from? I said, I'm from Nyeri. And what is it that I can do for you? I said, Mheshimiwa, my name is Kamau Gatwechi. I'm currently in Nyeri with my activities almost at fever pitch now. And the only thing that is actually remaining is for you to come and help me launch my stab at the governorship. And he asked me, young man, are you sure you want to run for? I said, yes. And he asked me, why URP? I said, but this is the party. I mean, I've been listening to the people of Nyeri, and that time was the time that he was very strong, fighting this huyu mtu wa vitendawili. And people in Nyeri would wonder, where does this guy get all the guts? And they said, if this guy was to run for president and we don't have a candidate, I think we would rather vote for this guy. And I kept on listening and thinking, so people love this guy. Much as I have not come out openly to say that I like this guy, it appears people like him. So at some point, I remember coming up with posters saying that I'm going to run for governor.
Yes.
With a URP name on it.
Yeah, I saw your posters, by the way.
And they started running around, and I also used some questionnaires, and guys went round. And guys said, we want some freshness. We want something new. And they were saying, surely, guys, I mean, before, it was a very different party. It was NAC. Then the president came back with PNU. And why not? Kamau can run on any party. And when I looked at the feedback from the people on the ground, I discovered that, yes, this can be done. People believe in you, and by extension, they've actually followed Honorable William Ruto then. From the time he was in agriculture, you remember the man folding his sleeves, see him in Tana, the irrigation, coming back, somebody thought like he was getting a lot of mileage from agriculture, and later thought that I'll take him to a position that is less decorated, the higher education. And he went in there, and I remember him making some very radical changes in education, saying that the poor shall not wait for 2 years to get to campus. We would rather have double or triple intake in a year. And again, people
So definitely he had done some work.
He had done some work, and the people of Nyeri actually reward people who do well.
I want to pause you right there.
Yes, thank you.
We'll take a break right here. This is the KASS Spotlight. Don't go away. We'll be right back.